So this is the last time I want to get to, because we already talking about conflict and resolution, and one of the things that we try to incorporate a lot is trying to have solutions for a lot of these topics or whatever the case is. We're not gonna be perfect, you know what I mean, but it's good to have that. So I got to talk about this gender war, you know what I mean, because it's such a relevant topic. What are some solutions? How can we find solutions to end this? First of all, do y'all think there's a gender war? Because some people don't believe there's a gender war.
Yes.
Everybody agrees?
Absolutely.
Ongoing.
It's
the masses
on the
is
front page,
unfortunately
everything.
literally picking sides, and it's just like war upon war.
It's
and
exhausting.
It's exhausting to hear, see, ingest.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So what are some ways that we can kind of solve this gender resolution and get over, gender war and get over this? What are the solutions?
Stop listening to other people's
That's
thoughts.
the only thing. I think that's the only thing.
I'm making it
So
sound like it's that simple.
how?
Like, you know what I mean?
It's like how? Well, there's always going to be
It could
gender
all be
war.
so
There's always going to be
simple.
something different.
Yeah.
I also think that is that's the reason why the war exists. Because people feel like they shouldn't be listening now, and I think this is why men are so vocal now, because we spent so much time not saying anything, and now we're like, okay, now we vocal, and they's like, oh, word, y'all just pushing us shit to the side. Now you got the extreme niggas that just wilding out, because I'm not with them niggas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I do feel like men should be able to express themselves, but I think men feel like, I want to be heard. We heard y'all say we ain't shit for so long. We all cheaters, deadbeat dads, and da-da-da.
I had to go to the movies with y'all to watch a Medea movie where the nigga wasn't shit. Like, then you looking at me like, damn, you ain't shit too. Like,
yeah, you did that.
Come on,
You
man.
did that.
Like,
the movie.
But I just think that we do have to, listen to each other. Not saying that every situation is similar or different. I have to listen to you, and I want to hear that you understand what I'm saying. I don't want to just like, and I feel like you're not comprehending what I'm telling you. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes people like, I hear you, or I heard somebody else say that before, but you're not connecting it to it when I'm telling you. You get what I'm saying? Or how it's affecting our relationship. So I think we do need to listen to each other more. And, there's nothing wrong with you telling me, okay, I hear you with this, and then counter with what you feel, so we both can have a conversation. I think ignoring the situation will never come up with a solution.
And not taking accountability. I feel like the comment section, because that's always where the action is at.
Spicy.
So spicy.
It's always like, you'll see the post about whatever, and it's the men like, no, the problem with women, and it's the women like, no, the problem with men, versus us being like, you know what, that's our problem.
Yeah.
Like, when we don't thrive together, that becomes an issue for us. We see kind of like the state of what Black men and women and what our relationships look like. We can't keep pointing the finger like that Spider-Man meme. Like, it's all of us. Like, we have to realize that we all play a part in it. Like, there's a lot that us as women need to fix. There's a lot that you guys as men need to fix.
Yeah.
So can we both understand each other's work of development? I feel like
we remove the defensiveness, the same thing we were talking
Yeah.
about friendships. Like, if I'm coming to you about a problem and you're running to the defense, you don't need to defend yourself.
Right.
This is a problem and we need to fix it. Period. It may not make you feel good because it's a problem. Nothing changes if you're comfortable. So you should be offended.
Awkward.
But sit in that and be like, okay, how can I shift this? But if we keep doing this,
it's too much moving from a place of ego.
It's always the ego.
Yes,
it's
always. And
For
and
sure.
it's a lot of energy. Why you put so much energy? Like, why are we doing this?
It's easy to stay the same. That's why.
Yeah.
It is. The complacency just is
Yeah.
like...
I hear a lot of women say that women should be policing women issues and men should be policing men issues.
Yes.
Which I agree to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, yeah.
But
I
I think the reason why sometimes even on our show and the panel, we have to be vocal because some women just don't hold other women accountable. And when we come here and we be like, why are you dealing with a nigga that's in the streets? And they be like, well, you don't know what he had to go through. And we be like,
that's your choice. That's your choice.
Yo, miss, he's the wrong nigga. And they're like, well, he had a hard life. And I'm like,
but you chose
him.
him.
So we're holding this man accountable. You're arguing with us. Then we're holding women accountable. And you still mad at us. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. So even if we left the policing to just the gender itself, it's still combative.
No, I think
a lot of women aren't on the same page though. So a lot of women aren't on the same page about how we feel about how we handle ourselves, how we handle men, how we handle our friendships.
Mhm.
If we can get on one page, we're all individual.
Yeah.
We're never
Yeah,
gonna be on one page. Let's,
Yeah.
let's be
Never.
for real. But if we can get to an accord where we understand, like, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do, and everyone just do what they want to do in between their own relationships, we probably have a way less problems. But we're all trying to do the same thing. And it's like everyone doesn't function the same way.
I'll come up with random numbers, and I'm gonna do a show that just like surveys people, right? Because if I just said, if you ask 100 men, is a drug dealer a bad person to be in a relationship with? You probably have 20% men saying yeah, and 80% men saying like, nah, don't deal with those niggas. But I said, look, and I would say if you ask women this question, it might even be a 60-40.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they get it.
Because y'all talking about, I know we're not all the same, but men can literally, might be logical at pointing out right from wrong than women sometimes, because I think they react with emotions.
We do.
I was gonna say men think black and white. We're like, but
Yes, and then subsection and A and subtopic.
for sure, because it exists.
But that's how we. But in our life, I think because in our life we've had to figure out not just black and white. We've had to figure out red, blue, yellow, green. We had to figure out all the in between. So I feel like every
y'all naturally
topic,
nurturers, and I think that's y'all give people the benefit of the doubt a little bit too much sometimes as well.
Yeah.
As women.
But we're all humans. I know me personally, like I'll look at somebody, okay, you fucked up once. That's I don't know if that's, but then you fucked up once, cool. But if you fuck up again,
I agree with that, but I'm a Virgo, so I'm an overthinker.
Oh,
so
God.
listen,
Bro,
I could be in
it's not because you're a Virgo.
Whatever. No, I could be in a situation. I'll be in a situation. It's finished. I go home. I think about it again. Get me mad all over again. I just go back. That's it. Leave it alone. I'm in the shower. Think about it again. I just go back. Like, I just always. I know. Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to hear that zodiac talk because I be getting on women about that. When they be like, yeah, I broke his car because it's the Aquarius in me.
I never broke a car. I swear, I'm too nice.
I think with these conversations, we have to look at things from a community aspect, like somebody said. I forgot who it was, because a lot of times what we see is just the blaming on one side, like you said, and that's what's triggering. Like even when we had an episode with Umar, it rubbed a lot of men the wrong way because it just felt like you just putting the blame. Like nobody else has the women don't have the accountability. It's the men, and then it's vice versa for the women. Men are just blaming the women. Like you know what I mean. And I think when you go to just blaming one gender, that's when it becomes a war. You know what I mean? Like,
but even that, because I watched that episode, right? I didn't feel like it was Dr. Umar came to hold men accountable for their peace, and that was y'all moment. And that's another thing. Like, imagine being in a relationship with someone and y'all get into, like, you come to your girl with the issue that's on your heart, and she's like, but you, okay, we can talk about me, but right now we're talking about you. So let's hold space for what I have to say. And I think that that's what that moment was about. There's definitely a lot of things that within, because I speak about like,
it's a little flawed though, because he and that's if you're gonna say he's coming at us and we need to fix this, which we totally agree with, but don't say that there's other men that they need to respect in the same. And if you're gonna go with the context of that message,
wait, elaborate. What do you mean? There's other men?
Because he didn't just say all men need to fix it. He just said us, but our women should be able to respect other black men that's not in America.
Yeah, so I think that's how the initial conversation started. It was like, well, he said verbatim, I tell black women when they go deal with a continental African that they can't behave in the same way how they treat black Americans. And this is why Jew said, damn, why do we have to tolerate it? And that's when he said, well, because y'all had a role in it, X, Y, and Z. So again, he's pointing out the fact that you're perfectly capable of behaving in a certain manner when you're dealing with a non-black American. But because we are black Americans, we have to tolerate that behavior because we had a role in it, which I thought was unfair. And I think that's why a lot of men got, triggered, is because it's like, damn, so they are capable of having that behavior. It's just not towards us. You know what I mean?
Somewhat true, because unfortunately, some of us may have encountered or have been encountering situations from people that's supposed to be with us. So when we feel that attack from someone that's supposed to be with us, it's like, okay, then that's why we're so angry and bitter, because our one ally from everyone else is against us as well. And we just want y'all to be the allies. So that's what triggers us to be angry or defensive or tell y'all, certain things that's like, what are you saying? And then we behave with other people because, well, they see me as something else, whereas you've been seeing me in this weird light. Yeah. And it's just hard when you're trying to progress with what you eventually want. It's just hard.
Yeah, and I heard more so from that conversation, like, give grace because we all play a role in this problem. Yeah. Whereas outside, it's more like an awareness. If you're dating someone in Kenya, this is not the guy from East New York that you know what I mean? Yeah. This is like, his culture is completely different. So I think that was more so.
And that same note, I'm not that man that disrespects your mother.
Right. Yes.
So I deserve that same grace. You understand? I'm a new generation. I am a new man. I am a new presence. I shouldn't be held responsible for the many men that was disrespectful, that wasn't shit, that, fucked up our community. I'm not a part of that because I also was a nigga that didn't grow up with a father. So I'm just like you. You know what I'm saying? For not saying you per se, but the women that feel like men are not around, imagine how the young men didn't have that man around as well.
Right.
You're talking from an individual. You're talking from an individual state.
Yeah.
We're speaking when he's
collective.
He's
speaking from the collective.
And unfortunately, you have to take on that bit as a collective, because my experience with men is not that big experience. Men are not shit. Yeah. But I also understand that men aren't shit. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I think every single last man is not shit. It's just a general statement. And it's when y'all have to take accountability where it's like, well, that's not me.
No. We understand.
We know it's not you
specifically, but it's the collective of it. Yeah.
See, and this is the thing. I'm not just saying it's not me. I'm saying, yes, men need to do better. But women need to give us the same grace that they require from that man.
Yeah. I agree.
And that part is what he did not say.
Because he was holding men accountable, and that's what where
he was like doing a you guys
thing. Like I said, if you have a big platform, you have a big voice.
Yes.
Why not just end it with, we just need to respect each other? Because he said, I will let a black woman disrespect me and understand that I need to do this. I'm not going to allow a black woman to disrespect me.
Yeah.
I deserve and I demand respect that I'm going to give you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's again, I think it does come down to, and again, we don't disagree. Men do need to be held accountable. Yes. But it could have been, he could have worded that in a way where the community could have been held accountable. Like, you know what I mean? That way, because there's a lot of women that was in the comment section who have made bad decisions with men, and now they're blaming other men for that. Like, you get what I'm saying? And it's like, well, first of all, we need to start with each other and take accountability, and then address the traumas that we have before we start pointing a finger. Oh yes, I got pregnant by a pookie because the person. No, you still chose that. You know what I'm saying?
That was a choice.
Like, and I made the analogy about, in our communities there's a variety of poor food selection in our communities, right? Which also contributes to our health. Nobody has never went to a doctor and said, "Damn, you know what? I'm overweight because of the poor food." No, the doctor gonna tell you, no, you need to go in the gym. You need to start eating better. You need to start making better health decisions for your body. Yeah. Nobody's gonna give you that grace. Damn, you know what? There's 18 McDonald's right there. I understand. I give you some grace. That's not how the health system works. So you know what I mean?
But just because it's not given doesn't mean that it's not needed to solve the problem holistically. Because you could tell me, we hear these things about being a product of your environment. If you are in an environment where you see certain things, you become a product of that until you're introduced into something different,
but
right?
You would have to also hold yourself accountable for the decisions that you made. The community played a part, but also you all could give me advice, right? And it could all be the same shit. It's up to me to accept that advice. So every decision I make, that's on me. So yeah, I know the community played a part, but like, if I don't choose to do this or that, if you accept it and you live with it and you move with it around that in that situation, I think that's all that people want to hear. You held yourself accountable. I can't blame just the community. Where's the part of me saying I made the decision to do it?
It's like alcohol, like people that go to Alcohol Anonymous, what's the first thing they have to do? They have to admit that they're alcoholic, and that's where they start with that initial trauma or the root cause of it, and then they take the steps. You know what I mean? I think both men and women, if we could just say, you know what, I I'm in this situation because I had sex with this woman unprotected. She got pregnant. She's bitter. She's toxic. Men got to take accountability for the decisions that they make as well.
Mm-hmm.
If I decide, yo, you know what, I got to go sell drugs to support my family, there's consequences that come with that. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to give me grace or whatever the case is. They're going to say, yo, you shouldn't have been doing that. Like, you know what I mean? So I think we just have to, with the whole gender war, like Drew said, and pretty much everybody said, we just got to get used to listening to comprehend and not listening to react. We also have to not think everything is an attack towards somebody. Like, you know what I mean? I think a lot of times people we could be talking broad, and I'm not like that, like Drew said, or whatever the case is. We're not talking about you. Like, you know what I mean? We're talking about it in general. So I think once people start hearing and start listening and start having more positive conversations, it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen in our lifetime. I don't know if it's going to happen in the next lifetime. But it is slowly. This is decades of trauma. It's not going to go away overnight. You know what I mean?
So, it's because of social media, though. So,
it is. Yeah. That is a fact. That is a fact. You know what I mean?
Y'all don't know how many... I don't know, fat white dudes behind these computer boards just replying to us and trying to...
The FBI.
They just bored.
You go to those pages and you see they got 10 followers. Nigga, how you know to reply to me? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, they know what the fuck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Before we get on I mean, what's your thoughts real quick? Because I know I've been like, I apologize. Like, what's your thoughts on this? The gender war, how do we come to solutions?
Shit. Niggas said y'all said it all.
I know what to say. You're talking about
just run it back, accountability.
I go with y'all, man. It's just about it's about accountability, man. That is really what it is. I had something. I just read it blank. Y'all got it. That's just
some people when they say the word accountability, it just burn their tongue. It's like it's like you know what I mean. They can't even say that. Like you know what I mean. Like